Chastity, a concept familiar to women for centuries. It was the way in which women were expected to act, to behave, to strive for. The essence of a woman was judged upon how chaste she appeared. A woman's honor was her good reputation, and this had always to be a reputation of chastity. Her honor was akin to her reputation, and she gained it through her understanding of her sexual vulnerability and avoiding all appearances of indiscretion. The good woman who stayed at home was chaste. The public woman was by definition loose. A man's honor was synonymous with his manliness, his courage, and his authority. Simply by being a man, he was considered honorable. He dominated the public sphere and could voice his opinions wherever and whenever he wanted to. Political authority and public life were associated with men's exercise of sexual freedom. No matter the political accomplishments of a woman, if she were allowed to participate, she would be praised, above all else, for her chastity and devotion to her husband. As Aristotle said, silence is a woman's glory, but this is not equally the glory of men. Men were allowed to speak publicly, and coincidentally, this was where significant speech was heard. If women tried to override this, it was considered a type of insubordination. Control ought to be exercised by the man over the woman, not as the owner has control of a piece of property, but as the soul controls the body. Another area of control that was popular in the Greco-Roman world was over the art of statues. They provided an understanding of the importance of gender roles and their presentation. Greek statues were used to emphasize the values of women: chastity, marital fidelity, wifely and motherly devotion, and dedication to domestic duties. In most cases, women were portrayed by being covered in draping fabric. The way the individual was positioned was chosen to emphasize certain characteristics of the person portrayed in the statue. A specific pose would depict a woman's marital status or emphasize her piety. Alternative statue positions were used to link women with goddesses or to emphasize a different womanly virtue, such as motherhood. The individual commissioning the statue would have been able to choose the way a person was to be depicted. If it were a woman that ordered the statue, she would then have agency over how she presented herself to society. If it were a man ordering a statue of his wife, he would also be able to choose how she was represented, and would want her to appear chaste. When a statue of a man was created, they also conveyed certain ideals to their audience, yet chastity was not one of them. These statues focused on male values, highlighting the military might and political savvy of the man in question. The stances were designed to highlight the masculine figure and, to an extent, their masculine sexuality. The body itself is highlighted, in direct contrast to the statues of women, where their bodies are completely hidden by the clothing they are depicted wearing. The statues of women were more about the tapestries of womanhood than their sexuality. In statues portraying women, the clothing and positioning of their body were cleverly used to highlight their sexuality without removing the perception of chastity simultaneously. The male statues portrayed the virtues important to men through additions such as scrolls or decorative boxes, whereas the female statues did not emphasize any role played by women, not even that of motherhood. In antiquity, male and female virtues were woven into many aspects of society and art. The spheres in which each gender operated within reflected the virtues that were imposed on men and women. This was also visible in the way the different genders were represented in statues. The contrast and separation between male and female honor provides a window into understanding the lives of individuals in antiquity.